Life is precious. I think we would all agree. But often we find that we take the very things that we do every day in life for granted until something happens in the blink of an eye. Hello, I'm Tom Russo, and this is In a Blink of an Eye, where we discuss stories from ordinary people whose lives are changed in an instant and how they overcame through faith, courage, and determination. Join me on this podcast for uplifting stories of how people face various challenges and learn to not only survive, but thrive. In a Blink of an Eye is sponsored by TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Discover, connect, collect. That's TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Now, I have to tell you, folks, as I tell you every time because every guest is so special to me, I have two amazing people that have a wonderful love story, and I can't wait to get to it. I want to introduce you to Dayna and Armando Flores. Dayna and Armando, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having
You
us.
all excited? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I usually like to start out with kind of where y'all are from and how we kind of got to where we're going. I'll start with you, Armando, and then I'll go to Dayna. Armando, so tell me a little bit about where you grew up and where you're at now.
Born in Lufkin, Texas, in Navasota, Texas, my whole life, and now I live in College Station.
Outstanding. And Dayna, yourself?
I'm originally from Charlottesville, and I moved to College Station, Bryan area about 8 years ago.
Okay. And Dayna, you are in the medical field.
Yes, I'm an
What
LVN. I
an
work at a place
LVN?
called Promises. It's mental health and substance abuse.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I normally build up to the blink of an eye moment, but I really want to spend time talking about this. So I'm going to go back to Armando first. Now, Armando, you and I were talking off camera, and you are now legally blind. That is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
And you became blind some time ago, but you were not born blind. It was actually a result of diabetes.
Diabetes, yes, sir, mostly.
Okay, and so you were. It was what, about 16 years ago? You said something like that.
No, it happened in 2020 when I lost my sight.
So it hasn't even been that long. So 2020, and that was along the lines of COVID. That's right. You told me a little bit about that as well. So, and you also at the time had some problems with your kidney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was
And
13% before COVID hit me, and then COVID took the 13% out. And I lost my kidneys and my eyesight around the same time.
oh, good Lord. Now, when you were going through dialysis, that's where you met Dana. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So Dana, now we're going to pick it up with you. Tell me a little bit about how you met him, and then how the love story kind of arose out of that.
Well, I met him while he was in dialysis. I was working with dialysis, and it's kind of funny because I never really noticed him at first. And then one day I just looked up and saw him. Still didn't ever talk to him. It was probably months before I actually started talking to him. And then later on, I just went down to Navasota to meet him at the fairgrounds. And as we were walking around, it was like a slow motion moment that I had that I heard like in a voice, inner voice inside tell me that I was going to be the one that was going to give him a kidney. And so months later, I got tested and we found out that I was a perfect match.
Amen. So it was almost a divine intervention of sort. You kind of had a feeling come over you that you were going to be a match for this man, and something that was going to save his life. But also, did you at that time feel like it was going to be more than just a donation, or did it kind of grow after that?
I feel like it kind of grew. I mean, I kind of knew that God was telling me I was put into his life for a reason, but it was not easy because he was miserable. He was not very happy and friendly go when we first met, and he was just seemed like he had the whole world on his shoulders. As he tells me now that I'm pretty much saved his life because he was really depressed and locked up in his room, and nobody was ever really around. So it was just kind of hard at first, and then I had even told him if if we don't work out, that's fine. I'm still wanting to give you a kidney. So it's nothing that I feel like you need to, we have to like
Right.
be together. So I had planned to give it to him regardless.
Well, and that's unbelievable because you felt called by God to do that. But Armando, let's go back to you and talk about that depression and that dark place, if you will. I mean, you lose your sight, you almost lose your life because of the kidney. I understand why that can be depressing. I only had a small portion of that, and I was incredibly depressed. So I can't imagine the levels. How Tell me a little bit about that dark place that you were at and how somebody like Dana was able to pull you out of that.
Well, when I lost my sight, I had to quit working and went to dialysis every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And every day I got home from dialysis, ate lunch, and went to my room and basically lived there. The phone calls quit coming in, people quit visiting. So, yeah, I was very depressed for a long time.
No, it was lonely almost, right? You kind of felt isolated, like uh, uh, the whole world was against you. The whole world had something out for you, right?
Yes,
Now, are you a man of faith? Did faith help you at all through this, or was it more the love that Dana nurtured you back that kind of put you back on this positive track? Because I went to their wedding, guys. My wife knows Dana, and we got invited to their wedding, and it was beautiful. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I've only known Armando a couple of times. I've been able to visit with him, and he's always been so fun and pleasant. So I'm trying to envision this dark area and this dark time for you. Tell me a little bit about your personal faith, or if it was that.
well, we started going to church, trying to find the right church, but we still hadn't found one yet. But yes, I give all the thanks to Dana. She pulled me out of the dark spot that I was in, and we've been going ever since. But yeah, I give all thanks to her.
I
That's
think,
gorgeous.
I
That's
think with his
beautiful.
faith in God at that time, I don't think I think he didn't have that then. And since we've been together, I feel like that was probably another mission of mine was to put God back into his heart.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, is it fair to say, Armando, that not only did maybe you not have faith in God, but maybe you were angry with God as well?
Yes, sir, we could say that.
Playing the why me card. Why did all of this go bad? Why did the eyesight go bad? Why did I get COVID? Why did I lose my kidneys? All of these things are things that circulate through your mind, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, and then Dana, I want to talk to you about the incredible strength and sight. You said you felt like you had this divine intervention to donate a kidney, and that is a huge step. Now, first of all, medically, there has to be a perfect match. And so that you were called like this, you almost felt like it was gonna happen, right? It was gonna happen. You were gonna
Right.
be the match. How long did it take to get that match? How long did it take that time frame to
Oh,
figure it out?
we had so many obstacles in the beginning. When we first found out in 22, he got an infection in his foot, so his big right toe. We could not have the operation until that was cleared up. So he had a whole IV antibiotics to go through for that and ended up amputating that toe. So it was a whole ordeal with that. And then I had to be X amount of weight. So I had to lose weight before we could have the transplant. And then so finally in 24, February 1st was the day we had our transplant. Um, and that's when that ice storm came in. So Baylor Scott and White and Temple was calling us the day before to go ahead and make our way there so that we would be there in the morning, or we'd probably miss the operation because of the weather. So we went, and as soon as we got to Temple, we were already kind of sliding on the ice on the road. So we got there just in time, and they put us up in their housing. And the next morning, really early, we went across and just it was
Had
almost
the
like a
surgery?
surreal feeling. And I mean, the only thing I was afraid of was just not waking up from surgery. That was my whole
Right.
thing. But I wake up and I was in pain, but it was a good pain because I'm glad I woke up. And we got to stay in the same room together for the days that we were there. Our staff was great. And I mean, I would do it again if I could. I would do it again.
Well,
It's a very,
how long was the recovery time for you and for Armando? Or was it a different recovery time for both of you,
it
or
was a different recovery time, because the person who usually gives the kidney is the one who has a little bit more downtime, because my body has to adapt to not having that kidney. Um, but
sure.
I mean, I didn't have any problems. It was mainly trying to make me sit still because I'm always wanting to do something. I got to get up. I got to do this and that. And my mom lives with us. So thankfully for her, she was around to help pick up my slack and the cooking and the cleaning, taking care of the pets and such. So that was a blessing because not having her there, I think it would have been even more hard for us to have gotten through.
Right.
Um,
Well, Armando, tell me a little bit about that road to recovery for you. So you're in the hospital bed. You've been given this gift of life by Dayna, and y'all aren't married yet at that point, right? That
Correct.
you still were maybe an item, but you weren't married yet. Is that correct?
That's
Cor-
correct. We wasn't married yet.
Okay.
We weren't even engaged at that time yet.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to get to the engagement because I've got to hear that story. But as far as the recovery time, Armando, tell me a little bit about uh, what you felt. I mean, you obviously went into the surgery feeling horrible. You had to, first of all, being blind, and second of all, just feeling depleted. I'm sure with your kidneys not performing at all, basically at 0%, and so your body must have almost felt like it was shutting down.
Yes, sir. We had the surgery, and I felt great after that. But I don't know. I stayed in bed maybe a week, 6 days, maybe. But it wasn't that
Wow.
bad because I just had a little
Okay.
bit scar on me where you know in, inserted the kidney, but it wasn't as bad as for Dana. But it was
How,
it was a little
how long
rough.
was your
They told me this about 6 weeks I couldn't do anything. So after 6 weeks, we went back to the gym and started out very slow again on the treadmill. Um,
Wow, so it's that dramatic of a difference. Only about a week of recovery time for Armando, but yet 6 weeks for you.
right.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Now, during this time period, is that kind of when love grew a little bit?
Really, no, it just kind of snuck up on us.
Okay. All right. So I got to ask the obvious question. Tell me about the who asked who and how. Inquiring minds want to know.
So our proposal wasn't like as romantic as most women. We like to fantasize of that time, but we were just sitting on the couch one day and Armando's like, I think we should probably get married. So that was my proposal.
Well, Armando, I'm with you though, man. Simplicity is beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. So, you got excited about that, I'm sure, and you started building this life. I know you had this beautiful wedding in this country setting, and like I said, I went to that wedding, and it was spectacular, folks. Believe me, it was simple, but yet in this beautiful facility, and it was just everybody was wonderful, and I enjoyed it so much, and it was such a friendly atmosphere, and such a great occasion, and it was such a happy occasion. I remember telling Cindy, my wife, how happy I was for the couple. And getting to spend just a little bit of time at the wedding because you're the guests of honor there, and so everybody's wanted to talk to y'all. So I didn't get to talk to y'all that much there, but it was certainly a beautiful ceremony. But but tell me a little bit about your life now. So you've been married 2 years now, and you've settled into a regular uh, path of what you do on a daily basis. You mentioned this job that you have now. It's more of a drug abuse. Was that the job you had then, or did you
Um,
change
well,
jobs,
I've
Dana?
been with the mental health substance abuse um, place for probably 3.5 years now. So before
Okay,
that, I was in dialysis shortly, and then I went back to nursing home. But then I went to the mental health substance abuse. So I've been there since.
okay, okay. All right. And take me through a typical day right now for y'all, as far as what do you have to do? I would say different, to make life better for both of you with only one kidney. Each of you have one kidney now, so I'm sure there are dietary restrictions. I'm sure there are activity restrictions. Tell me a little bit about that.
Um, well, you'll hear me say this a lot to a lot of people. Nobody ever tells you how hard it's going to be married, for one. Um,
Well,
and
no.
then, with all the extra things that we have to do every
Armando's
morning.
smiling when you say that now. I saw that smile. I saw that smile.
So it's just hard for him. I
My
mean,
good eye saw that.
he amazes me though, because while I'm at work, he'll be here. He does wash clothes. He'll fix the bed. He vacuums. He tidies up around the house. He walks on his treadmill when I'm gone. So those are different things that we've learned to do together. Because even in the beginning, when I first met him, his health was he couldn't even walk to the mailbox with me without having to stop numerous times. And now he gets on that treadmill and he can walk anywhere between 3 to 5 miles in a session. Yeah.
Okay. You got to
And
get me
so
motivated to do that, Armando. Come on, man. I like that.
a typical day would be, depending on if I'm working or not working. I mean, I get up, I have to make him breakfast because he has to take his medications at certain times, in the morning and evening time at the same time every day. So I have to prepare his medications for the week. We do pharmacy runs, grocery store runs. It's just an unending,
Walmart runs.
unending, just over and over. Same things are over and over. But and then we got 3 dogs that we take care of. And then, like I said, my mom lives with me. So I take care of my mom as well. She takes care of us, we take care of her. But um that's pretty much
Now
it.
it's in that routine though that love can grow and fester even bigger. I think that's a huge thing, that familiarity and routine kind of build things because you begin to expect things. Well, you touched on it a little bit, but tell me a little bit. Are there a lot of dietary restrictions as far as what you can have with the one kidney, or not?
Not so much. We both struggle with the weight because we both like to eat. But but for his diabetes, I
I
do.
resemble that remark.
So far as my diabetes, I do try to cut back on his sweets a lot. So I'll get a lot of no added sugars or no sugars at all type things. We try to eat smaller portions, but that don't always happen either. Um, so usually I try to minimize his sweets. Is probably he does have a sweet tooth, so that's probably the biggest thing on his end. As for me, I mean, I just make sure I drink enough water every day because that's probably my biggest thing is making sure I keep that one kidney healthy with a lot of
From a
hydration.
filtering perspective.
Hmm.
Yes, yeah, I can understand that. So, what are some future plans? Do you have some goals and some dreams that you're reaching for, uh, next level? Tell me a little bit about that.
Um, as of now, I think we just had our 1 year. We just sold our last house that I was living in when I met Armando. So we sold that house because we needed a little bit more living space from the kitchen, dining room area, and um, living room. So we sold that house and we have moved out to Southern Point Community and got us a bigger house. So that was something that we've achieved together. We've been here um, just a year last month in June.
Right.
So yeah, and we have gotten a lot of things done around the house, planting, fixing up the backyard. Armando used to be a plumber, and like I tell you, he amazes me with the things he still does, being blind. He has done fixtures of putting in the new fountains.
I changed all the fixtures in the house because the ones that I didn't like them, but I couldn't see them, but they just didn't feel right to me. So I
Oh,
put the
yeah, I mean, if you've done it for a while, that's
yeah,
that's
yes,
incredible,
sir.
Armando.
I done both bathrooms,
Wow,
kitchen. I changed all the fixtures in my house by myself.
Well, not
that
necessarily
is
by yourself, because
Well,
I was the eyes.
you were there. Were you supervising, Dana?
I was.
That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about the dogs. What kind of dogs do you have?
I now I have a Chihuahua. He's the senior. He's a long haired Chihuahua. He's about 14 years now. And then we have a Dutch Hound who's going to be 2 years old in December. He's the baby, even though he's the middle one. Our youngest dog we just got, Daisy. She is a cow dog mix dog. She's going to be 8 months in August. So she's still very puppy, very active, still
Right.
training.
Now I
She's
know
a handful.
now I know did sadly pass away in December, last December, but through my surgeries, our dog was always by my side. Was that something that comforted you guys through this recovery time period?
Think so. I mean, they're always there every day. Come home from work, they're always happy to see you. No matter what kind of day you have, they're there with the same positive, happy you're home attitude. So that will brighten anybody's mood as soon as you walk through the door.
Right, right. So, going back to the time period when you said you felt you had this divine calling, um, that's so powerful to me because I am blown away with the amount of sharing that has to have. I mean, that's the ultimate gift that you're giving someone. You're giving someone the gift of life, and that requires so much faith in God above and anything else, and courage and strength and determination. And I'm so impressed with that. Tell me a little bit about your faith journey through that. Did Was God there with you every step of the way, or was it something where you kind of just felt this was what you had to do, and prayed that God would help you through it? Tell me a little bit about that journey.
So even I had failed to mention that when I had those thoughts at that day, that first day, I even said it out loud to Armando because it was also saying, "Go ahead and tell him because you're going to be the one." Well, I told him, and he says, "You don't even know me like that. Why would you? Why would you give me a kidney?" And I'm like, I'm just going to be the one who's going to do it. And that was the end of that conversation for a while. So along the way, when I did get the testing done, My faith kind of wavered a little bit. I was in my head saying, "What if I'm not a match? What if I'm not a match?" And then I would hear that voice in my head telling me that I've told you this is what's going to happen. It's going to happen. So when we got those results, I could just hear God saying, "I told you so."
Well, she did it
You kind
behind
of
the
had to
scenes.
squash the doubt.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
did go
Armando?
do the testing without Armando knowing.
I didn't know nothing about it. He just told me after he was
Oh,
back.
behind the scenes. I like that too. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Well, what a fantastic love story. What a fantastic faith-filled story. And congratulations to both of you, and your journey is amazing. And I know whatever the next chapter is for you guys, it's going to be even more incredible. I always try to keep these to 30 minutes or so. And if you can believe it, we've already been talking about 30 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. I want you to hang on. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and then we'll visit a little bit offline. So um, if you like hearing uplifting stories of overcoming challenges in life, click the like and subscribe button. It's right below. Please do that, and you can share an amazing story like Armando and Dayna here. What an amazing story! I'm still blown away. Perhaps you have a story of your own to share: an accident, sudden loss, PTSD, alcohol, drug abuse, a natural disaster, illnesses, and you would like to share that journey of overcoming. Please contact me at the email shown below for consideration for a future podcast interview. I rely on viewers like you to share their stories. Quick update as far as how Dayna came around this. She works out at the same gym that my wife works out, and they were talking, and I think my wife mentioned about my podcast to Dayna, and then I reached out to Dayna, and here we are. So can't thank them enough. Thanks again to TradingCardsMarketplace.com for their continued sponsorship to bring these great stories to all of us. TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Discover, connect, and collect. Awaken the collector in you. And I want to thank everyone out there, especially my family, our military, veterans, first responders who put their lives on the line every day. We can't forget our teachers and our medical professionals who all make the world better, one person at a time. But most of all, thank God for all the blessings in our world. We just need to make sure we concentrate on them every single day. Thank God for Dayna and Armando and their incredible journey that they shared with you today. I can't thank y'all enough. Y'all have a great time. Stay on the line. But until next time, my friends, Carpe Diem, seize the day.